This is about Jesse, part two. Sorry it took so long to upload the video to YouTube, part one of Jesse James. It's mainly because I've been quite busy on my end, but now I've got a little bit of extra free time, so I thought I'll do part two of the video. Yeah, I've got so many good memories, of the times that me and him shared. Like, for an example, like we used to even hang out when we didn't have any, weed or alcohol. We would hang out when we were sober too. And I absolutely and utterly enjoyed his company. He was so intelligent and so bright, it's not funny. He would sit there for hours on end. He would never hardly watch TV, so he would sit and read books on psychology, all kinds of shit. He would even write his own music, was very super talented. He wasn't perfect. He, battled with his own demons. We're all not perfect. But I'm pretty sure now, he has changed a lot. I'm pretty sure of it. I feel it within. Like, I know for a fact me and him were soulmates. Like, a lot of people mistaken him for my brother or family member because we looked similar. He looks like he's got olive skin like me, and he looks very similar, and he got a lot of people approaching him, keep telling him you'd look a lot like the lead singer from Faith No More. He looked a lot like him. No joke. He had his hair semi-long. He always smelled good. He was a bit OCD, like he always kept his room immaculate. Like, it was never messy. He was a very fussy person. And he lived in this special like facility complex for where he was with other people, like a shared accommodation kind of thing. And it was like a 2-story building in Elsternwick. And he used to live there, and he made some friends there. And he was just an all-rounder great guy, great person to talk to. You felt comfortable in his presence. You can talk to him about anything. He was never mean, he was always a gent. He always complimented me and made me feel good about myself every time I would see him, which was nearly like fucking every day. He would always say, "Oh, Claire, you smell good, you look good." He always made me feel good about myself. And he was just a really nice person to hang out with. He really, truly was. And I enjoyed his company. And I grew to love him over time very slowly until Jodie decided to go and ruin it all for me. Stupid bitch. But yeah, I don't know. She was just totally obsessed with him. Okay, we met, when I first met him, we bumped into him just spontaneously in the street one day, and he said, hey, and, it was just small talk in the beginning, and he invited me and Jodie over to his place for the very first time. And that's when he asked me for my mobile number, and I gave it to him, and yeah, and then it was on there every single day, therefore after, from day one we met. And, we used to sometimes shout each other drinks and, go halves and some green and, and halves and a 6-pack. And sometimes he would shout me and I would shout him. Like, I never felt manipulated or used by him. He was never like that. He never asked me for money or anything to get anything. He was just a real gent, and he was great. Like, he was the greatest bloke I have ever known. Out of all the blokes I've known over the years, he tops them all. Like, he really does. He tops them all. He's, his true, authentic self all the time. He was just absolutely fantastic. Very good looking. I'll give him that. He was a very good looking lad. I don't know how he looks now, but, people change. Times change. You don't stay the same forever, But yet still, I wish him nothing but the best now, and I hope and pray he's A-OK, because he wasn't 100% perfect. He had his demons, drug issues. And, I loved him dearly as a very, very close friend. And I told him, like, if you and I were to be together, you're going to have to get off the drugs. Because he was brutally open with me, and he told me the truth, that he hung out with the wrong crowd, and that's how he got into heroin. And when you look at him, you don't think he's a heroin addict. He is so healthy. You know what I mean? He's not scrawny looking, nothing like that. He was an occasional user. What do you call it? A functional user? He would only use once every fortnight when he got paid. But when he didn't have any heroin, that's when he would smoke green. And I told him straight out, look, I will not hang around you. If you're on that shit, I will not hang around you. And I explained why and what happened to my friend Jen, and that she died from a heroin overdose, and she was my best friend. And I told him everything, and he goes, oh, don't you worry. If I plan to do it, I will not contact you. We'll not hang out. he respected that. Like I told him, I don't want you using around me. I only want to associate with you when you're not using. And he stuck to it. He didn't renege. And yeah, he would only smoke, green in my presence with me and, have a few drinks here and there, but he never used in front of me. So I made a very strict rule with him. And I told him such a shame. He's such a talented, bright lad. I don't understand for the life of me why he got hooked onto that shit. I told him straight out that I thought he was an idiot. And he goes, yes, I am an idiot. He goes, you're right. I should have stopped ages ago. He nearly died once. And he told me about that horrific story. And I started to get emotional and started crying. I'm like, you've got to find a way to quit. And I hope and pray he has quit. I've got a funny feeling he has cleaned himself up, and that's why he's very fussy. He will not associate with anyone who does that kind of shit anymore. And I hope and pray he's wised the heck up and he's grown up and he realised, I'm better than this, because he is better than that. He's better than that shit. I don't care if he only uses it once a month. That's what I was thinking. I said, I don't care if you only use it once a month. I prefer you not to use that at all. I prefer you to just have a few drinks and smoke a bit of green here and there rather than you take that shit. And he agreed. And he goes, it's very hard, Claire. I've tried so many times. He just could not quit. And that was the only downer with him. That's why I would not be with him in a committed relationship, because of that reason. There is no way I'll get seriously involved in a very deep sexual relationship with someone who is a heroin addict or a hardcore addict. The answer is no. I don't mind being strictly close friends with someone who's an addict, but I will never sleep with them. I'm sorry. I will never go that far. And it's a shame, because if he wasn't on that, I would be with him. You know what I mean? I would have been his woman if he wasn't on that shit. Let me put it to you that way.